Let's
please read what I've got.
see if we can sneak in another staff recommendation, which is page 19, item 14, Emergency Management Project 712. Mr. Drury, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there are 3 under emergency management, and they add up to 33, 27 and 25. They're just less than 100,000. The explanations are given here by the Group Manager for Emergency Management. I'm not able to add a lot more to what he's got here. So if councillors would like to bigger discussion about this, I'd recommend that we endeavour to get Mr. McDonald in at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We have 20 minutes or 15 minutes to kick off tomorrow, but if councillors like to do it now, I'm entirely happy about that as well.
If we're happy to put that through now, councillors, seek your indulgence here.
The timeliness of it, Mr. Chairman. Surely this wasn't put on the back burner because of the Tuki plan change?
I think 9 in the morning would be useful, wouldn't it, for $100,000? Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next available one.
Next one is
flood risk assessment. I think Mr. Adey can help us with that.
That's me. I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is an explanation there. Yes, the engineering team has been short-staffed most of the year. We are still looking for an engineer. They're hard to come by. But this work, they have progressed the conversations with Napier and Hastings to determine exactly what their needs are in this area, and I'm working with Gary to increase the level of consultancy input over the next year. So this we haven't carried forward all of it. We've carried forward a portion of it that we believe can manage. We can manage through the current engineering resource, and that will lead to completion of the work that Napier and Hastings have signalled to us that they are keen to see done. So I'll leave it at that.
Questions? Councillor Scott.
Is this a favourable outcome? Did I hear that there's going to be a portion of unspent money which will go back on the bottom?
Yes. Yeah, not a huge amount, but yeah, some.
How much?
That's small. Well, yeah, some has been spent, so it's probably off the top of my head it'd be less than 10, but there is some there. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I've lost the arithmetic. This was 45,000. Carry forward is 25,000. I make it 20.
Yeah, but there's already been some spending this year. Yeah.
You're happy to move, Councillor Rose. Happy to second, Councillor Douglas. Anyone wish to speak? Put that motion. Then all those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Regional Land Transport Strategy. Have we got someone here that could help us with that?
We'll give Carol 5 minutes to get here from across the road.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't know whether this is contentious. It's only worth 15,000 carry forward, and I think Carol has set out for council the difficulties of additional planning work required by New Zealand Transport Agency. But by all means, if you wanted to come across.
Is that a typo though? The 30 should be 15. Is that what you're saying? It's a net sum.
It's 50% is funded by NZTA. So what have we got here? Recommendation that 30,000 be carried forward, and the associated carried forward of income of 15. So we've got a net.
So net of 15.
Mr. Chairman, I think we are all aware of the problems that the Land Transport Agency has caused on this, and just everywhere that it's not staff. This one has lays well and truly at the feet of another organisation.
Seconder. Any other speakers? Put that motion, and all those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried.
It's had to come out from the cold.
We're going to risk 19, 840, community representation and regional leadership. Let's start on that one.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I mean, there has been paper to Council indicating the new level of remuneration for councillors is sent out in a letter from the Remuneration Authority, and the increase in funding from what was in the the draft 13-14 budget, where a figure of 2% was added, which equated to $10,000 increase. The increase in Remuneration Authority has put forward is a sum of $40,000. So the plan, the draft plan, is short of $30,000 to take us up to what the Remuneration Authority has specified as the amount.
An obvious question. I understand that the authority sets the value now. That's pretty clear and simple to follow. The only thing we set is the remuneration to council committee chairman, right?
Positions of responsibility.
Yeah. If we decide at a later date that we don't actually need that full amount as allocated, why would we budget for it now? Because it would have a direct impact on the bottom line. If we decide that we aren't going to expend the full amount for committee chair responsibility positions, we actually don't need that full amount.
No, I agree, Mr. Chairman. If I think the paper comes up on Wednesday for the first look at council, it's committee, and you're quite right, Mr. Chairman, that if the council decides not to allocate the full 70,000 available for positions of responsibility, then that would be the 30,000 would not be needed.
So, just to follow on from that, with your indulgence, council, if we agreed to it now, there is a provision we could actually, pending the meeting this coming Wednesday, take it out of the final decision when we set the rate at the end of this month. Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, but by the end of this month, on the 26th, the plan would have been pretty much finalised. It is possible to redo all the financials for a small amount, which would probably be reluctant. Yeah.
Can I reword your question in a different way? If we put the provision in the plan now, when a new council comes in and actually sets a level of remuneration for that council, in terms of levels of, they do not have to spend all of it. It can go back onto the general, into the general fund, can't it? Or will come off.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think the Remuneration Authority's view is that this council, as interesting as it is, this council will set the remuneration levels for the new council. It's only if the new council decides in a material way that they want to alter it, and then they've got to put it back to the Remuneration Commission, and they make application for change. And if the Remuneration Commission doesn't get, or Remuneration Authority doesn't get sufficient numbers wanting to change, then I would think they probably wouldn't do another determination. I think my reading of it is they're reluctant to do further determinations.
Well, Mr. Chair, it could sit on the table and could go the other way, couldn't it? That the incoming council could decide to increase the budget provision at that time. Is there any great urgency to incorporate it now and let it be their decision?
Mr. Chairman, we could see the progress of a fairly comprehensive paper coming through the committee and see what, at the end of that committee discussion, we could resolve. We'd be in a better position to resolve them.
So this could be a separate item in the 26th meeting?
Yes. If at the committee direction was given and it wasn't changed on the 26th, then we'd put that into the plan, basically. A little bit.
No discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I was just going to ask a question. Is this for half a year or a whole year?
This here
it only affects half a year, doesn't it?
No,
38 weeks.
Yes, I appreciate that. It's the 30,000 for half a year or a whole year.
the 30,000 is from the date of the election to the end of the.
So it's half a year.
Yeah.
38 weeks.
Well, it's 38 weeks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Put that motion, and all those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Let's go and have a cup of tea or coffee. Mr. Moore, you had a question?
Just Amy Adams has called in those two projects.
Yep. Amy Adams has called in the...
The EPA, just an announcement, everyone, the EPA has called in both projects.
Yeah, I wanted to lie on the table a few others.
Yeah, it's a secret, apparently, till 3 o'clock. Yeah.
I would have put that through.
Okay, could we break, please, till 3:20, and we'll continue our hearing then. Thank you.